Guys. So kind of what I want to talk about here is, what is health? How do you measure it? I want to give you guys, like I said, I want to kind of bring it home for you guys. There's a lot of amazing information, but how can you guys apply it, right? I want to simplify it in kind of 5 steps of exactly what you need to do. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the testing again, and I'm going to go over kind of a secret solution if you're not getting better. The number one thing that I've found. So, um, I love this little meme here. It said, "Good news, your test indicates that you're in the normal range," right? And I just love that because that's the big problem now is with the regular blood work. Um, it doesn't show anything until your organ function is like 50% function, right? Like that's terrible. Who wants to know when it's like 50%? If you have your kidneys test like an EGFR, the doctor will never say anything to you until your kidneys are working like less than 50%, right? Which is just crazy to me. So that's why we do a lot of the advanced testing. And the reason that we want to dive deep into this isn't just to reduce to stop disease, it's to reach just feeling optimal, living a life on purpose, doing the things that you love to do, right? It's that disease management. We're giving you guys these resources, so you can live a more enjoyable life. And like my brother was saying, some people don't necessarily want to live longer, but it's about living those years optimally. And that's kind of why we give you guys these resources. So here's the 5 things I want to talk to you guys about. This is the secret to true healing. Gut imbalances, okay? Um, Clearing out your liver, which we're going to talk about. Deficiencies and toxicities. If you have too much of something or not enough of something, that's a foundation to having symptoms and issues. Adrenals and hormones. We're going to kind of show you the pathways so you have a better understanding there. We kind of talked about the Dutch test, how it shows us the adrenals and hormones, and we're going to talk about different stressors. Those are the 5 core things that we really dive into. And we have never come across a patient we could not help that if they followed these 5 things, they got better, right? We could give you all 4 things, but there's some kind of stressor that you're unwilling or can't get rid of. We can't guarantee results, okay? But we can pretty much guarantee you if we can actually execute these 5 things, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, autoimmune issues, all, cognitive dysfunction. We've seen it all, and they've all responded by getting to the roots, right? Like my brother's talking about, you have thousands of leaves, but there might only be 5 core roots at the base, right? And that's why we're able to not necessarily treat every condition, but we've been able to help patients overcome pretty much any issue you can think of. So, a lot of things that we do with our patients is the same thing that I went through when I got into functional medicine. It was my brother that referred me to this clinic in Atlanta, Georgia, Progressive Medical Center. I went there for eczema. I had a lot of chronic sinus issues, and then and acne as a kid. They put me on a lot of doxycycline antibiotics for my acne, um, and it was just antibiotics and steroids and things like that. And I just kept getting worse and worse. And then when the eczema broke out and it just was like spreading, I was using different creams, and I was just like, this is kind of scary. Like, what if the cream stops working? Like, there's, you know, it's like a dead end here. So through their testing, they found out that I had heavy metal toxicity. Um, they found out, oh, by the way, you have an autoimmune disease. I'm like, well, that's not why I came here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my skin. Um, so then I'm getting like more stuff put on me. Um, and so I'm going to go over the exact steps that I did. My autoimmune antibodies were around 300, and 6 to 9 months later of going through the steps I'm going to tell you about, my numbers went from 300 down to 40, which is technically which is now not in bold, technically, out of the kind of positive range. So, and right, a lot of doctors say once you have autoimmunity, like you can't reverse it, you can't reverse diabetes, and so forth. So, first thing I did, the number one thing I did, we've talked a lot about the gut. Um, So this is your gut lining. So you have these tight junctions in there. And when you have dysbiosis of the gut, those junctions open up, toxins, proteins, pathogens get into your bloodstream. Your immune system therefore attacks it, okay? You might eat a food with a protein that you should do fine with. The problem is it's getting into places it shouldn't. And it's your immune system's job to attack foreign invaders, okay? Guys, this is big because especially post COVID and everything, autoimmune disease is absolutely through the roof. There's millions of people that are incorrectly diagnosed, not diagnosed. They think they have anxiety. They think they're crazy. They don't even know what's going on. Right? They have chronic pain. They don't know where it's coming from. They're diagnosed fibromyalgia, and it's simply your immune system overactive, trying to kill things. It's your natural security doing what God intended it to do, right? So if we can get this stuff out of your blood, your immune system is going to say, hey, there's not all these foreign invaders. I can now calm down. I'm now going to stop attacking your skin, causing eczema. I'm going to stop attacking your thyroid, causing Hashimoto's. I'm going to stop attacking your nerves and your muscles, causing chronic pain, right? So you can see if we get to the root cause, all of those conditions go away, um, essentially. So that is the big thing of why we're having this autoimmune seminar, because it's my belief that it's all these autoimmune conditions that why doctors are so confused. They don't know what to do. Patients don't know what's wrong with them. So, and again, this whole process I'm telling you about is right inside the gut lining. So that's why we have to start there. Right? So autoimmune disease, food sensitivities, bowel issues, chronic fatigue. Fatigue is a big one for a lot of people now. Brain fog, all known skin conditions. I've had a lot of skin issues over the years, and if you have a skin issue, you have a gut issue. Okay, 100% linked together. So how did these gut issues start? It's a big question I get. Well, it was antibiotics for me. Pain medication slows your gut down. Sugars. We've talked about low carb diets today. Improper probiotic use. Maybe even nerve impingements, mental stress, decrease in stomach acid. A lot of people are getting reflux, and we're given things to stop the acid production. Was actually making long term the problem even worse. Okay, so we're gonna jump in. This GI map test can actually give us insights into what's going on with your stomach acid, so we can be a little bit more specific with kind of this treatment. Okay, and Dr. Benner has designed an entire guide on what happens when you take betaine, and if you get burning, if you get this. We give that to a lot of our patients because sometimes taking supplements isn't that simple, right? So there's we could do a whole seminar on stomach acid, okay? So super super important. A lot of people don't know how to correctly utilize it. Um, so some of the main tests we use is diagnostic solutions, Genova. We look at things like H. pylori, pathogens, elastase, calprotectin. So I'm going to go over my stool test results. These aren't your test results, but you're going to see you might have similarities. But just so you guys can get a mental picture of why you really have to do a comprehensive stool test to know exactly what to do with your gut. Like just taking a bunch of supplements, taking a probiotic, taking a digestive enzyme, right? That works for like some people, but you're not being specific to your body. And the big problem with the gut is that it has to be treated in stages, right? In functional medicine, there's stages. I'm gonna explain to you guys how there's no point in detoxing or trying to do a liver cleanse if you have leaky gut and you're leaking toxins in. You have to plug the hole first, or there's kind of no purpose in trying to pump all the stuff out. Okay, so there's so important the order. We see a lot of patients do all the right things, but not fully and not in the right order, and they don't get long-term results. Okay, it's like baking a cake. If you use all the right ingredients at the same time, throw it in the oven, it's probably not, it's not going to turn out very well. And the same is true with functional medicine. So um, I had really bad H. pylori. Okay, um, my good bacteria was elevated. Also, I was someone that was taking, when I would take probiotics, I would actually get worse, and I could not figure out why. And when I did the stool test, it was like a light bulb went on because I had taken antibiotics for so long that my system was dependent on an antibiotic at that point. It had morphed and my gut had changed, and it needed something to keep the bacteria count down. Okay. This is maybe 20% of people that have that kind of um, elevated good bacteria. So, um, fungus, yeast, you can see these are all overgrowth bacteria. Everything I've showed you so far, if you go to your GI doctor, you go to a regular doctor, these will not be on the test, okay? They're not going to show you your good bacteria. They're going to show you pathogens. You have your good bacteria, you have your in the middle bacteria that should be there, but just not elevated. And they have studies showing that um, there's certain bacteria that potentially trigger your immune system if they're too high, okay? There's research studies showing that. Look how many I had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Pretty bad. Um, and then you have protozoa, you have worms, you have things like that. Um, this also tests for pathogens as well. So, and then you can see under digestive, you have elastase and steatocrit. This tells us you need extra stomach acid, you need digestive enzymes, you need ox bile to help you break down your fats. Okay, I'm someone that I love keto, but at one point my liver kind of said no more fats. Okay, and the stool test helped me figure out, I wasn't processing them correctly. It helped me kind of get back on track. Um, and this showed me, and this one it was negative, but I've over time had anti-gliadin, which is gluten. So you could have a celiac test, negative. Allergy to gluten, negative. Food sensitivity, negative. And then you could do a stool test and it could show that your IgA, right? Allergies are E, sensitivities are G, and then in your gut lining is A, right? So there's a lot of different places this could show up. That's why you have to investigate deeply. That's why you have to do comprehensive testing, right? Because you might miss it if you don't look at the whole picture. A GI map, it's a map. It's not half of the map, it's the whole thing, right? And so this came up that I was highly sensitive in my gut lining, okay? So, I don't have any slides on this. So basically, with those results, I killed all the pathogens first, okay, with different herbs. I was having issues digesting fats and proteins, so I got up to taking 6 betaine HCl, which is stomach acid. That's extremely high, and I had no burning from it. After a while, I primed the pump. My stomach started to work properly. Stomach acid kills H. pylori, by the way. 6, I started to get burning. 4, started to get burning. I was able to wean myself off. So there's a whole protocol to use stomach acid to get your stomach working again. And that helped me get over H. pylori. Okay, so I killed the H. pylori, killed all the overgrowth. Then we used different types of postbiotics, probiotics, um, Saccharomyces boulardii. There's a lot of people are hearing about this probiotic now. So I use the right formulation to get the good stuff in, keep the bad stuff out. Okay. Um, and then my calprotectin was off. So we did more of a leaky gut protocol. Okay. Things like aloe vera. Now, when people have gut issues, what part of that process do they normally start with? They start with like probiotics and then they start with like leaky gut products. But why are you trying to clear the inflammation when you haven't fixed what's causing the inflammation, right? So I cleared that inflammation heavy on the tail end of it to get that marker down. So you can see all these markers we put into basically 3 different stages. Each stage took 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. At the end of that, we put a maintenance protocol together. Okay. This is a test that I do every 1 to 2 years, and it's gotten better over time. And this has been my biggest weakness. Whatever your biggest weakness is something that you're going to need for the rest of your life to just kind of keep in check. We all have your strengths, you might not ever need to touch again. Okay. Um, Once you clear the gut, it's time to get in the liver. There's a lot of liver, say, detoxing out there, but our goal is to just get your liver to do what it already does to a higher level. Now that the gut's working better, the liver starts to clear itself. There's 2 phases to the liver. So we have a protocol that we're actually going to share with you guys. We're giving you guys a whole resource package with the recordings today. Um, my brother was talking about gut healing foods, doing the soups, doing the gingers. We have a little Google Doc with some recipes we're going to share with you guys. We have our kind of liver boosting protocol we're going to share with you guys. But the liver it does almost everything you can think of in the body. Not only helping with detox, converting your thyroid hormone, recycling estrogens, um, all these different functions in the body. Okay. So then we clear the liver, and the organic acids test that I showed you guys about, this is one of the markers that's in there, and it's got a whole little section on liver pathways, and it tells us if there's a break in that liver process. Oftentimes, blood work shows normal, and we're actually able to catch it on this test. Okay. He mentioned Genova Diagnostics. It has organic acids in it, and then we also have a standalone organic acids that we're able to look at this. That's liver. Okay. Um, Normally, we get into, now that your organs of detoxification are working properly, now we can actually pull heavy metals, molds, viral load. We can pull those things from your cells and from your body. But I mean, people, I want to do a detox. I want to do, like, people all the time on Instagram, hey, like, how do I do a detox? I'm like, you're not ready for a detox. Okay. If you get your gut right and your liver right, you will detox like 100 times better. Okay. So that is, all this stuff is builds on itself. So then we do a heavy metal detox, a mold detox. Hormone or toxins trigger the immune system because pesticides, heavy metals are not supposed to be in your body. Your immune system thinks it's an infection, essentially, right? It thinks it's something bad and it attacks it. And that's what skyrockets autoimmune issues, okay? It affects your pituitary and brain function. The reason we're not talking about thyroid a whole lot right now is because it's a secondary issue. And once you do all these things, a majority of thyroid issues get better. We do a lot of things with bioidentical thyroid hormone, with increasing thyroid conversion, but that is something that we have to do by special protocols where we retest every 60 days. We use glandulars, we adjust your medications, and we optimize thyroid function. But that is something we do more on a one-on-one basis. Now, so I'm focused a little bit more on autoimmune. So your pituitary basically tells your thyroid what it should do. A lot of people have low endocrine, low thyroid function, not because the gland can't work hard enough, it's because the brain is not telling it to, right? You could have a great engine in your car, but if there's a block of wood behind your gas pedal, you're never going to get that horsepower out of it. That block of wood behind your gas pedal is what toxins are in your body, okay? And I actually want to actually show you proof of this. This is somebody that had lead, multiple different heavy metals, aluminum. We did this heavy metal detox. Um, their testosterone went from 6 to 16. Okay, and their TSH, which is your gas pedal, it's the throttle, went from 0.2 to 4. Okay, it did nothing else with the patient. We had done the foundations. We were on the detox, and that was a before and after lab of those. So just showing you how doing a deep detoxing and leveling the foundation can be the secret to optimizing your hormones. Okay. And then if we do optimize your hormones after that, imagine the benefits that you're going to get. So let's talk about that a little bit. Your adrenal glands. This is where your hormones start. It's really ridiculous to jump into estrogen, progesterone, testosterone until you get your cortisol and your DHEA optimized. You can still do it, but you have to look at the whole picture together. Okay. So let's just take a look here. Your cortisol is supposed to go up in the morning and then start to drop and drop at night. So this graph shows someone where their 24-hour cortisol should be, and it's like almost double. Okay. This is just one example. Yours could be low, it could be upside down, it could be any shape you want, right? So with herbs, so your adrenal glands produce cortisol and DHEA. Cortisol regulates your sleep, it regulates your blood sugar, regulates your adrenal, your thyroid. DHEA turns into testosterone, estrogen, and so forth, right? So if we get that gland firing right, you're going to have better blood sugar, and then you might naturally produce those hormones because you've optimized your adrenal glands, okay? So very specifically, we can give something like phosphatidylserine, okay? That actually helps cut cortisol down. This person, hey, get up, take a little bit of this herb, cuts that down, less anxiety, less kind of all over the place in the morning. Someone else might be the opposite, really low, they can't get started in the morning. We might give licorice or some different herbs to boost it up. So with herbs and with foods and with breathing exercises, we can kind of manually get your circadian rhythm back. It's going to help with your mood, it's going to help with your sleep, and that is going to directly feed into all your other hormones. So can you guys see why adrenal glands is so important? And adrenal glands, it's a big buzzword, right? A lot of people are talking about adrenals, but I don't think they're using, you have to do a 4 to 5 time collection to actually look at this appropriately. What if I just looked at one random dot on that test? It's kind of a 50-50 whether you're going to hit it right or not, okay? And when you get your cortisol tested in your blood, it's only one time, okay? And it's not what's available to your cells, which you find in your saliva or in your urine, okay? Now, we're talking about getting to the root cause. This office used to be called the Root Cause Medical Clinic, okay? We had a name change because someone else took the name. It was a legal battle, but it's okay. We like the name change. So we want to focus on getting to the root cause. The adrenal glands go down because of stress, chemical, physical, emotional. And I know we've talked about that, gave you guys some resources. We're going to give you some stress management resources in that email, okay? So share that with people. It's stress that affects your cortisol, okay? And so to fix this properly, we need to address stress. And the main thing I just want to say about this is think about a stress bucket, okay? Stress is actually good in a small amount. It's not about having no stress. It's about you have a 5-gallon bucket. Let's keep like 3 gallons of stress in there, okay? Let's not let it be 6 gallons and just overflowing everywhere. So think about it like a bucket. If you can just lower it a little bit, Maybe you could lower your emotional stress and your physical stress, but maybe right now you can't address the chemical stress. That's okay. That's probably good enough because our bodies are amazing and your bodies know how to deal with stress. They just don't know how to deal with 100 times more stress than it was designed for. Okay. Um, so this shows you pregnenolone steals. So when you have cortisol goes up, it steals from pregnenolone, and you guys can see how these other hormones, DHEA, estrogen, and testosterone, basically go down because of that. I want to talk about mold a little bit. So that was adrenals. Let's talk about um, actually one more thing. My brother's big in Chinese medicine, which I love. In Chinese medicine, the adrenals are the battery of your car. Okay. I started to do more adrenal work with our gut patients because we started to realize that if the adrenals are so depleted and they can't fire to tell your gut to contract or digest properly, that could trump the order that we're talking about a little bit. So that's one of the rules of functional medicine. If something's very severe, that could trump the order. Okay. But the adrenals are the battery of your car. And if the battery's dead, nothing's going to work. Okay. If you live in Florida, you have a mold problem. Okay. I mean, you can't get away from it. It's like all over the trees. Like my brother said, I have 3 foot of water in my house. It's like, it's crazy. Um, there's different urine tests that you can do.